What's up guys, I'm Newbie Dave and today we are exploring the end. Let's get started. So how's it going, y'all? That's right, we are going back to the end. So you might wonder why we're going back to the end. We already defeated the end dragon. That's great. There's a lot of stuff to explore, a lot of good items to get from the end. Namely, what we're going for are going to be the Elytra and some Shulkers, or more specifically, Shulker boxes, which you get from combining Shulker shells, which you get from defeating Shulkers. Now, before we go, I am going to want to get a mending book and also an enchanted book with Unbreaking 3. I'm going to wait to get the mending book because I'm going to have to go do some enchanting. And I know from experience, if I have an enchanted book in my inventory while crafting other enchanted books and disenchanting them, it's very likely that I'm going to end up accidentally disenchanting my mending book, which I don't want to happen. So I'm going to go take care of the other one first. So why do we want Mending and Unbreaking 3? Well, the Elytra is a piece of gear that you can wear on your back that basically lets you fly, and it's amazing, but it doesn't last very long. Without any sort of enchantments, hello buddy, it's going to break within a couple of minutes. You can extend that by adding Unbreaking 3, which will make it last longer. And then if we put the Mending enchantment on it, of course, it will repair any durability to the Elytra whenever we gain experience. So that should allow us to use an Elytra indefinitely. So rather than having to find an Elytra, bring it back and try to enchant it, I'm just going to bring some enchanted books with me. And then as soon as we find one, I can just go ahead and enchant it on the spot. Now, Unbreaking 3 is kind of a difficult enchantment to come across if you're just enchanting books, because you can get any enchantment on a book. It's not a sword or a pickaxe or a chest plate, and so you can really get any enchantment for any piece of item. And so I'm not just going to hold out for Unbreaking 3, since it's going to take many attempts to try to get it. So if I find Unbreaking 1 or 2, I'm just going to go ahead and get that, and then I can combine the books to build it up to Enchanting 3. But even with that, it may take a while. Another little trick is because the Unbreaking enchantments aren't level 30 enchantments, since I don't have any Unbreaking enchantments here, I can place a block in between the enchanting table and one of the bookshelves, and it effectively removes that bookshelf from the equation. And so it reduces the enchanting level, and that in turn gives me different enchantments. And so I can use this to kind of cycle what enchantments are available to increase my chances of getting Unbreaking 1, 2, or 3 without having to constantly burn an enchantment. But even then, this could potentially take a while. Oh, look at that! Wow! I got that like right off the bat. That was my third try and I got Enchanting 3. Unbreaking 3. That's phenomenal. Thank you, Minecraft. I was not expecting that. I was really expecting that to take like 10 or 15 minutes and have to burn through several levels. So that's really nice. Let me make sure I'm not disenchanting it now. Okay. And for the record, I did check my enchanted books that I got from fishing, and none of them had Unbreaking 3. So I knew that I had to go make it myself. Alright, now that we've got Unbreaking 3, we can go ahead and get a mending book. And we've got the 2 enchantments that we need to enchant our Elytra. Now I need to go craft an anvil, because I want to make sure I bring an anvil with me, because we will need the anvil to actually apply these enchantments to the Elytra once we find it. I tell you what, having an endless supply of iron in this game really is amazing. Alright, so we've got our anvil, we've got our enchanted books. I'm also going to bring a bunch of swiftness potions because the end is a very big open area that takes a long time to explore. And I'm also going to bring a slow falling potion because pretty much the only attack that Shulkers have, they shoot these little missiles at you, and if they hit you, they cause you to float up. And you can actually float up pretty high, and when it wears off, you could fall and take a lot of falling damage. And so I'm going to take one of those just to be safe. I'm also going to bring some ender pearls because these are a great way to explore, and especially to get over to some of the other islands very quickly and safely. Now, I don't need all of these tools, so I'm going to leave some of them, like my shovel, my fortune pickaxe. There's not going to be anything there to fortune, and I'm just going to leave these behind. And then one last thing I need is lots and lots of building materials, because this is going to be one way to get from one island to another. Not really safely, because there's not a safe way to do it, but if there's a large gap between islands, we're going to have to build some sort of bridge to get across. And I almost forgot one very important thing we also want to bring with us. We want to bring lots of rockets, because once we finally do get our Elytra, the rockets are going to be how we actually fly instead of just gliding. So let me turn some of the sugar cane into paper, and then combine all of my gunpowder and some paper into rockets. And I'm just going to make all the rockets that I can right now, because you actually go through these things pretty quickly, and I certainly don't want to run out while I'm in the end. And with that, I think we are ready to go. Now, even though we have built another hub, I have not built any of the tunnels from the hub to any other locations in the nether where we want to have nether portals. So I'm going to have to, I am going to have to run back to the nether portal that takes us to the end portal by foot. Fortunately, it's not very far, so it's not going to be that inconvenient. Alright, so we are back at the end portal, and we'll jump through and head back to the end. Now fortunately, if you don't bring any building blocks with you, or if you run out, the end is made of building blocks. You can always just mine some of these in stone and use those to get around. Okay, so we're back at the main island, which is where we're always going to come out when we go through the portal. And what we want to head towards is that new little portal that appeared after we defeated the end dragon. So that's going to take us out to the outer islands. The inner island, if you look at my coordinates, is always going to be at 0, 0. It's always right smack in the middle of the end. And hey, there's some experience. So if you look around this main island, it's just blackness. It's void as far as you can see. And that's because the main island is about 1,000 blocks. Hello, that's dangerous. It's about 1,000 blocks away from the outer islands. And so you don't really want to try to build a bridge all the way out there, because it's just going to take you forever. But this little portal will take you to the outer islands. And this is the first time it's ever generated above island. Like, it usually generates over the void, and I have to build like a stair-stepping bridge out to it, and it's very nerve-wracking and stressful. But this one's going to be actually pretty safe. I am still going to build some stairs because I want to be able to get to it pretty easily in the future. So be very, very careful when you're building these stairs or a bridge up to the portal, especially if it's over the void, because it's going to be very easy to accidentally look at an Enderman while you're doing this. And if you do that, they will teleport up and start attacking you and knock you off your little bridge, and you will fall into the void, and you will cry and uninstall Minecraft, and it will ruin your day. Now, I should have already had my ender pearls in my inventory before starting this. I'm going to go ahead and get them out now, because if you do get knocked off into the void as you're falling, go ahead and throw an ender pearl back up towards the main island, and there's a good chance that you might actually teleport back up to the island and not fall to your death. Okay, eventually it'll probably be a good idea to come actually build like a little structure around this to enclose it and make it a little bit safer. For now, this is going to be good, especially since I'm not really over the void, and so if I fall, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, you may notice something. This is a little bit too small to get into. You can't really crouch down into a one block space. On Java Edition, you can do some trick with a little trap door that like puts you down into a crawling position, and you can just crawl into it, but no such luck on Bedrock Edition. So the only way through this that I know of is to throw an ender pearl. Now let me warn you before you do this, once you throw this pearl, do not move until the world generates around you on the other side. Minecraft likes to play a dirty little trick on you and place you like right on the edge of a land bridge or something on the other side, where you're like right there on the edge of the void, and it is terrifying. So just don't move until you have a chance to take in your surroundings. So here we go. Wow, once again Minecraft is being very, very courteous to me. I was getting a beacon light that was going up to the portal. Anyways, so yeah, usually this also generates over the void somewhere and is terrifying and dangerous, but this time it didn't. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and build some stairs to get back up to this thing, so it'll be easier to access when it's time to leave. Okay, so when it's time to leave, we're going to go back through that portal, which will take us to the main island, and then we can go through the central portal to head back to the overworld. Now notice my coordinates now. I'm all the way out at Z, almost 1100. So yeah, we're 1100 blocks from the main island where we originally started. So if we just take in our surroundings, how about that? We are right there at an end city already, with Endermen walking right in front of us, ruining my recording. So that's amazing. I was expecting to have to search for a really long time to find an end city, but there's one right there. So definitely remember the coordinates of your portal, because it's very easy to get lost in the end, and we're going to want to come back here when it's time to leave. But yeah, I'm going to go explore this end city. It looks like there's a bit of a gap between the island that we're on and the island that the end city is on, but that shouldn't be a problem because we've got ender pearls. And so rather than trying to bridge out across the void, I'm just going to throw a pearl, and I do not want to undershoot this thing. I want to land way, way, way on the back of the island there where it's nice and safe. So I'm going to aim nice and high. And there, that was a nice safe landing. What in the world is that? Okay, so we found an end city right off the bat, which is great, and we're still going to go explore it because it's full of shulkers, and we definitely want a lot of shulkers, but it doesn't have the floating ship, and the floating ship is where you're going to find the Elytra. And so after this, we're still going to go exploring and try to find another end city that has the floating ship so that we can get an Elytra, but this is a good place to start. So right off the bat, you can see there's two shulkers right there on the entrance. There are those little purple boxes that kind of pop out. And I like to just run in with my sword that has looting on it, because you're going to get more shulker shells by killing the shulker with looting than if you just shoot them with a bow and arrow. And you'll notice the end city has this little lip that kind of hangs out over it. So even if I do get shot by the shulkers, which I will, I'll just float up and kind of be stopped by that so I won't float off forever. There we go. And so you can see I'm floating right now. I've got this levitation 2 effect. I think it lasts for about 10 seconds. But of course, while you're levitating, you're going to get shot again and again and again, which is how you can end up floating off pretty high and take a lot of fall damage when you fall. So I'm going to go ahead and get my potion of slow falling out. I probably won't need it while I'm in this end city, but it's good to have anyways. And I should have brought a crafting table, because I cannot make a shulker box right now. It would have been nice to go ahead and craft up some shulker boxes to start storing stuff in. Now every end city is going to have one of these rooms that has like these platforms that you're expected to kind of jump between and do these parkour maneuvers. Yeah, forget that. I just, place some blocks so you don't fall back down to your death, and just kind of go up safely. These shulkers make some really interesting noises. Something else I want to grab while I'm here are these end rods. Is that what they're? Yeah, end rods. So these are actually a light source, and they're really nice for decorating and placing around different builds in the overworld or the nether or the end. So they're just good to have. So I'm also going to grab some of this purple block while I'm here, because end cities are the only places where this stuff generates naturally, and it's really pretty. It's nice to use in different builds. So these shulkers, you can actually hit the little missiles that they shoot at you to try to break them before you get hit. Since we're inside, I'm not going to be too obsessed with trying to avoid the levitation effect. Now a lot of these end cities will have a chest inside of them, usually with some sort of enchanted gear. Sometimes you'll get diamond gear. All of this is pretty useless, so I'm just going to leave it. There's also an ender chest. It's like every other ender chest in the game, and so there's not going to be any special loot inside, but might as well take it because it's a free ender chest. Oh, here we go. So we got some diamond armor from this chest. Mending, that's nice. Unbreaking, fortune, mending. Okay, not bad. Alright, so I more or less cleaned this place out. I think I'm ready to move on to the next end city. I've got, let's see, 41 shulker shells. That's really good. That's enough to make 20 shulker boxes. Got tons of purple blocks. I'm not going to keep all these. I don't care about the stairs or the slabs. Don't care about the glass. So yeah, I'll clean up my inventory a little bit, and then I will move on to find another end city. Hopefully one with a floating ship. So I can already see another end city way off in the distance there. So I'm going to try to make my way to that one, and we'll see what it's got. And I'm mostly just using these inner pearls to get around. It's so much easier and safer to cross these large gaps of void than trying to build bridges. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about running out of ender pearls because the end is filled with ender men, which, guess what? Drop ender pearls. Oh hey, there's another end city way off in the distance, and that one does have a floating ship. So that is excellent. Now before I head to that end city, because I am kind of starting to get low on what are these things? Ender pearls. And there's a lot of endermen right here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of restock on my ender pearls. So I'm just going to pass by this end city and head straight to the one that's got the ship, because that has the Elytra that we're after. I think I may already have my view distance turned all the way up, but if you are exploring the end, I highly recommend turning your view distance up as high as it will go so that you can see end cities from as far away as possible. Wow, and another end city. I don't know if that one has a ship or not. I don't see one, but still, that's 3 end cities pretty close to each other, and I think I just looked at an enderman. Yeah, that's kind of amazing. I've never run into so many end cities so close together before. I'll tell you what, this world seed, it has been fantastic. Oh wow, looks like this end city generated on top of one of these chorus plants. I've never seen that before. Alright, we've got a big open room with lots of shulker boxes in there. I'm just going to go ahead and get hit so I can levitate up. Maybe. There we go. And I'll just start taking these guys out as I float past. Their attacks really don't do much damage, so it's not like getting hit a whole lot is really dangerous. The main danger from these guys is the fact that they can make you float up so high and then drop and take a lot of fall damage. But since we're in an enclosed space, that's not really that big of a concern. Alright, so there's our floating ship. We could have just tried to nerd pull up from the ground to get to it. I'd like to just come up and either build a little bridge or throw an ender pearl over to get to it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to aim high. Hopefully I hit the mast and don't overshoot this thing. Perfect. Now there are going to be some shulkers on this ship, so be careful on the top. You're going to find some instant health potions in here. I'm not going to take those because I don't need them. And there is the prize that we came here for. The magnificent Elytra. So let me check these chests really fast. We'll take this diamond gear. And then let's get our anvil and our enchanted books. And let's enchant this thing. So we'll put unbreaking on. We'll see if, yeah, we'll do mending first. It's a little bit cheaper. And then we'll put unbreaking. And now we've got ourselves an Elytra. Now, I will go ahead and equip my Elytra. Unfortunately, it takes the place of your chest piece, and so I'm losing a good chunk of protection by equipping this thing, but it is so nice. And before we leave the ship, I'm going to sneak out here on the front. Yeah, okay, there it is. I thought there was no dragon's head. And we are going to take this dragon's head. So I'm going to walk right up to it, break it, and snag it. And now let's see how this Elytra works. So remember kids, do not try this at home. Oh my goodness, that is so nice. I love having an Elytra. So the way you use this thing is you either jump or you just drop, and while you're falling you press the jump key, spacebar, X, whatever it is on your device, and that will start gliding. And then if you have any rockets with you, you can just use a rocket to give yourself a nice little speed boost. And so this is definitely the way to travel around the end, not have to worry about falling into the void. So nice. So that's pretty much all I came here for. I wanted an Elytra and I wanted a lot of Shulker boxes. Got both of those, so I'm going to head back to my portal now. So we are back at our base. Let's talk about the loot that we got. So what's so great about Shulker shells? Well, they can be used to make a Shulker box. So throw a chest into the crafting table, add 2 Shulker shells, and you get a Shulker box. A Shulker box is just like a normal chest. You can put it down, you can add stuff to this chest. But one of the nice things about this is when you break a Shulker box, it drops itself and it does not spill the contents. And so you can actually take this thing around, put it down, and you still have everything inside of it. Another really nice thing about Shulker boxes is they can be dyed. So I put this thing in the crafting table, add some light gray dye, and I get a light gray Shulker box. Another nice thing about Shulker boxes is they list everything that's inside of them because they don't drop their contents. And so you can just easily look at it and see what's in there. You can also put them in ender chests. That's crazy. So you can keep a bunch of items in a Shulker box, put it in an ender chest, and then have access to it anywhere you go. That's just, it blows my mind. It's one of my favorite things about this game. So let's say I've got a chest like this one over here that has a lot of one specific type of resource. I can just take a lot of this stone, move it to a Shulker box, and I'm just going to go ahead and name this Shulker box stone because I'm just going to store stone in this thing. Now I can take this thing around with me, access it anywhere, got tons of stone inside of it, carry it around, and when I'm not using it, or if I don't need to carry a lot of stone somewhere, I'll just put it back in this chest with all the other stone, and it's just got tons and tons of stone in it. And so it really helps clean up your inventory, helps you organize and manage your space a lot better, and just makes it a lot easier to carry stuff. Because now when I go work on a build, instead of throwing a bunch of stuff in my ender chest and kind of cluttering it up, I can bring a Shulker box with building materials, a Shulker box with tools, a Shulker box with decorations, just a bunch of different stuff in different boxes, throw those in my ender chest. Now I've only got 4 or 5 things I need to carry around instead of like 40. One of the other things that we came away with was this dragon's head. This is a placeable item. You can put it on the ground or walls like this, and it's a nice decoration. And if you send it a redstone signal, then the mouth starts opening and closing. It's just fun. And then of course the other item we got from the end was our Elytra. So for the first time ever, let's see what our base looks like from the sky. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Flying around with an Elytra, it's one of the highlights of this game. I don't know why I put off getting an Elytra so long. It's forget the monorail. This is going to be the way to get back and forth between the skeleton farm and the rest of the base. It's just, oh, it's so nice to be able to see the base from this angle. See everything at once. Oh, that hurt. Newbie Dave. So you do have to be careful. Anything you run into while using the Elytra, it's like taking fall damage. And so be careful, make sure you don't hit anything, and even when you come in for a landing, you kind of want to take out some of the speed first so that you land a little bit more gently. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be cautious, but don't be too afraid of going to the end to explore because there's a lot of really good stuff to get there. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. And while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks y'all, and I'm going to fly off into the sunset.